Good morning everyone. Today's topic is commercial application of animal cell culture. You have studied about the basic aspect of animal cell culture, what are the requirements for animal cell culture, how the culturing is done, all those things you have done. I think the culturing technique Deepam would have finished by now. In the last unit, there is a portion wherein you have to study in detail about the what are the applications of this animal cell culture. What is the need of doing animal cell culture? You can study about the various effect of some drugs and all those things you can study, but then one of the major, or you can say the commercial application of, you remember this, commercial application of animal cell culture, that is what we are going to see. Commercial application of animal cell culture means production of pharmaceutically important protein. What do you mean by pharmaceutically important protein? The proteins which are used for treating various disorders, various diseases can be treated by giving therapeutic agents. Therapeutic agent in the sense the protein can be given so that the disease can be kept under control. That is what we are going to see. There are various pharmaceutically important proteins which are synthesized by the animal cell culture technique. I have made a list, and from this list I will be teaching you some of the production process. Clear? Now, the major commercial application is the production of pharmaceutically important protein. I think all are clear what is pharmaceutically important protein. Any protein which is used for treating any disease, that is called as the pharmaceutically important protein. These are the list of pharmaceutically important protein. The first one is vaccine. So you have to study in detail about the vaccine production by using animal cell culture, and in immunology also you will be studying about the vaccine production. Vaccine, why people will go for vaccination? Vaccines are actually, the definition for vaccine is inactivated form of pathogenic organism. But now the definition for vaccine, it has changed completely because of the development of recombinant DNA technology. Vaccines are the substances which can induce immunity to a particular disease. So you go for chickenpox vaccination, you become immune to chickenpox. If you are going for any other disease like polio vaccination, when you go, you become resistant to that. Then BCG vaccination, MMR vaccination, there are various big list of vaccination is there, vaccination chart is there. So if you have taken that vaccination, that means you are resistant to that particular disease. So we go for vaccination to get immunity. So vaccination, the purpose is to get immunity to a particular disease. Immunity to a particular disease. So all the vaccines can be produced by using this animal cell culture technique. Now remember one thing, in some other paper or in BSc level you would have studied about the insulin production, growth hormone production and all those stuff. Now always you have to remember one thing, some of the proteins which are needed, which are synthesized in our body, or which can be used for treating some of the diseases, some of them will be undergoing a post-translational modification. Some of the protein, very few proteins will not be undergoing post-translational modification. Whichever protein is not undergoing post-translational modification, that can be synthesized in bacteria. Clear? The protein which are not undergoing the post-translational modification can be synthesized in bacteria, whereas the protein which has to undergo a post-translational modification for the proper functioning, that we cannot synthesize in bacteria. Why? Because bacteria don't have the post-translational modification system. So we have to depend on the eukaryotic system. So post-translational modification is which is there only in eukaryote. So you have to depend on some of the eukaryotic cell. So people started preparing the vaccine in no, not only vaccine, all the pharmaceutically important proteins in bacterial cell, and then they found that it was not working because of the absence of post-translational modification. Then they started using the eukaryotic system. The simplest eukaryotic system which is used is yeast, but yeast also so many drawbacks were there, so they started doing this animal cell culture technique. So whatever proteins are synthesized in animal cell culture technique, by introducing a gene with the help of a vector, you have to put that vector with the gene which is called as the recombinant DNA into the cultured animal cell. The cultured animal cell will start producing that particular protein which can be used for treating various diseases. There is no need of doing any chemical modification because it is completely post-translational modification. Everything is done and it is synthesized in the eukaryotic system. So easily you can use it for the for treating the disease. Okay, so that is the importance of animal cell culture technique. No need of depending on the bacteria for the production purpose. Okay, so the first one is vaccine. Second one, what I am going to teach you today is the production of TPA. So the second one is known as TPA. TPA stands for tissue plasminogen activator. In platelet chapter in immunology, also I told you about this TPA production. So this particular topic is coming under paper 404, not 402. Remember that this is a 404 chapter. TPA is a tissue plasminogen activator which is used to dissolve the blood clot. Then we can produce interferon, which is antiviral compound, clotting factor for treating the hemophilia, hormones like insulin for treating diabetes, and somatostatin and somatotropin for treating growth disorder. Monoclonal antibody can be used for immunotherapy, and EPO, that is erythropoietin, that is used to enhance the RBC production. Interleukin, it is used to enhance the immunity. Okay. Then GSF and the TNF. GSF is to enhance the production of granulocyte. What is GSF? If you remember, granulocyte colony stimulating factor or granulocyte stimulating factor is GSF. TNF is tumor necrosis factor, that is used for treating cancer. So TNF is an anti-cancer agent. GSF is it is used for producing more number of granulocytes. Then interleukin, it is used to enhance the immunity, and EPO, that is used to enhance the RBC production. So in some people we have seen different RBC disorder, hemoglobin level when it is low or RBC level when it is low. They can go for external supplementation of this EPO, because if the kidney is not functioning, EPO production will be less. If EPO production is less, then RBC level will be very low. So to enhance the RBC production, they have to go for the people with the defect, they have to go for EPO supplementation. So these are various examples. Today's topic, today we are going to see the production of TPA, tissue plasminogen activator. All are clear with the list. So whenever commercial application of animal cell culture is asked, you need to make a column with all these proteins and their function, why it is used or how it can be used for treating the disease. Vaccine to increase immunity, TPA to dissolve the blood clot, interferon as an antiviral compound, clotting factors, all the clotting factor, factor 8, 9, 10, 11, all those factors can be synthesized by recombinant DNA technology, which can be used for treating various bleeding disorders. One of them is hemophilia. Hormones, insulin can be synthesized and even growth hormone. But mostly insulin and growth hormone can be synthesized in bacteria itself, because those two will not be undergoing the post-translational modification. Thereby you can synthesize in the bacteria itself. Bacterial production in the bacteria is, when compared to the animal system, production in bacterial cell or prokaryotic cell is little cheaper. Okay, monoclonal antibodies are used for immunotherapy. You have studied under cancer biology also. Most of the monoclonal antibody will be linked with the component. This will be studying in detail under immunology. Monoclonal antibodies can be used for immunotherapy and targeted therapy. So if you are using a monoclonal antibody directly to that target, antibody will reach and it will release the drug or whatever compound you attach with the antibody, which we will be discussing in detail later. EPO, erythropoietin, and interleukin to enhance the immunity. GSF to enhance the production of granulocyte, because if granulocytes, especially your neutrophil, if it is not properly there, then you will be prone to all the inflammatory disorders, because neutrophil plays a major role in the inflammatory response. So you will have the inflammation, but there will not be any neutrophil to neutralize it. Thereby, those people, they have to go for GSF treatment. Then TNF, that is called as the anti-cancer tumor necrosis factor, that can be used as an anti-cancer agent. So okay, all these things are called as the replacement therapy. All these factors, when you are because of the defect in this, some of the factors, not everything. Vaccine is like we are giving to enhance the immunity. Most other compounds we are using it like a replacement therapy, or you can say that the enhancement therapy can be done with the help of all these pharmaceutically important products. So replacement therapy and enhancement therapy can be done by using the pharmaceutically important proteins. We are going to see the production of TPA in cell culture. So it's a very interesting and simple topic, and I think all of you will understand it also because it's a very simple topic. Major death in India. In India, major death reason. The main one, earlier days it was heart attack, but now it is because of heart attack and cancer. Now, what are the in the case of heart attack, not only you cannot say that only heart attack, major death in India is due to the blood clot formation. So in the coronary veins or in the cerebral artery, so in the coronary system or in the cerebral artery, whenever clot is there, the flow towards the complete blood circulation will be blocked because of the blood clot formation. So whenever the blood clot formation is there, sudden you can say that people will have the heart attack will be there, and then stroke will happen, which can lead to death of that particular person also. Okay, so major death in India is because of the formation of blood clot. So what are these blood clot called as? Blood clot is called as the thrombus. Okay, so whenever blood clot is formed in the body, in the medical term, when you are talking about the blood clot, it is called as thrombus. Okay, thrombus is the blood clot. Sometimes now suddenly some blood clot can happen in the arteries, or in the brain also blood clot can happen. Sometimes in the hepatic portal system also blood clot can happen. So whenever this kind of blood clots are formed in the major veins or in the artery, the blood flow, when it is stopped for a time period, stroke can happen, and people will that lead to the death of the people. So to treat this thrombus formation, we have to use pharmaceutically important compound which is called as the TPA. What is TPA? Tissue plasminogen activator. If you remember, in the platelet chapter, in the last step of the clot formation, I told you that there is a tissue plasminogen activator. Naturally, once the bleeding is subsided, the clot will be dissolved with the help of tissue plasminogen activator. If you remember, or if you don't remember, please go through that particular topic which we have discussed under the platelet. So once the bleeding is completely stopped, the blood clot which is formed will be dissolved with the help of the tissue plasminogen activator which is there in the body. It's a natural process. You have tissue plasminogen activator. So whenever there is a need to dissolve the blood clot, the tissue plasminogen activator will get activated. Okay, tissue plasminogen activator will convert. The function of the tissue plasminogen activator is it will convert. What is the full form? Tissue plasminogen activator. So what do? They will activate plasminogen which is there in the tissue, that will be converted to plasmin. Plasminogen will be converted to plasmin. When the plasminogen is converted to plasmin, plasmin will act on the blood clot and completely degrade it. So what is there in the blood clot? Blood clot, it has, so this is the one of the artery with a big blood clot. What is there in the blood clot? Blood clot has fibrin. What is this blood clot called as? Thrombus. Just now I told you, thrombus is the blood clot. Blood clot has fibrin. Now whenever naturally when a blood clot is formed in the body, when there is a need to dissolve the blood clot, signaling event will happen which will activate the tissue plasminogen activator, which will convert plasminogen which is there in the tissue to plasmin. Okay, and this plasmin will act on the fibrin, dissolve the fibrin, and the clot will be dissolved. This is a natural process. But whenever a medical emergency is there because of the clot formation, we need to give the tissue plasminogen activator which is there in the body. That is not sufficient. We need to give excess or extra supplement of the tissue plasminogen activator. Now, how will you get it? For that you have to use the recombinant DNA technology. What are the uses of this tissue plasminogen activator? It is used to treat stroke. It is used to treat myocardial infarction, pulmonary embolism, and thrombolysis. Whenever thrombus formation of blood clot is there, altogether you can say that this particular compound is used for thrombolysis. What do you mean by thrombolysis? The lysis of the thrombus. What is thrombus? Blood clot. Clear? Okay, so it is used for pulmonary embolism, myocardial infarction, stroke, and thrombolysis. How do they administer it? They administer it through the arterial, through a catheter. Okay, all the tissue plasminogen activator will be introduced into the patient body through the catheter to the site of occlusion or wherever the clot formation is there. Towards that particular region, catheter will be inserted and the tissue plasminogen activator will be released out. So this tissue plasminogen activator, when it reaches there, they will activate the plasminogen and convert it into plasmin. We are giving only this particular compound externally. Tissue plasminogen activator which we are supplementing, that will activate the plasminogen which is there in our body, convert into plasmin. What is the function of plasmin? Plasmin will act on the blood clot and dissolve it. Clear? So this is what we are doing. And sometimes the region where the clot formed, if you cannot directly reach there, they will be inserting a catheter into the deep veins of the leg. Okay, catheter will be inserted into the deep veins of the leg, and through that, through circulation, it will be reaching to the target. Okay, so directly, if you are not able to put the catheter to the area where the clot is formed, they will just insert into the main vein which is there in the leg, and through that, through the circulation, TPA will reach to the target. Now, where is this gene located? The gene which codes for the tissue plasminogen activator, that is known as the PLAT. Okay, PLAT is the gene which codes for the tissue plasminogen activator. PLAT stands for plasminogen activator. PLAT, plasminogen activator. The gene is located in chromosome number 8. PLAT, the gene is located in chromosome number 8. Now, you can either synthesize the cDNA and go for the production process, or you can isolate the DNA itself and then you can go for the production process. So most widely used is cDNA, because you know the importance of cDNA. Last semester we discussed, I told you what is the importance of cDNA when compared to the genomic DNA. cDNA is the one which will be having only the coding sequences. That is why we usually go for the cDNA synthesis. To avoid all the non-coding sequences, we can go for the cDNA synthesis. Directly you can isolate the gene also and put it in the cloning vector. And for this cloning purpose, we will be using a cell line. The cell line is known as the CHO. You must have heard about the CHO cell line. CHO stands for Chinese hamster ovarian cells. So Chinese hamster ovarian cell is one of the most widely used cell line for the culture process, wherein we'll be using 3 to 10 grams per liter. Sorry, CHO will be used because it can produce, the production rate of this CHO is 3 to 10 gram per liter. 3 to 10 gram of the product will be formed per liter of media. Okay, if you are using 50 liter of the media, you can calculate. So that much amount, the efficiency is more. That is why we go for the Chinese hamster ovarian cell line, CHO cell line. That is one of the most widely used cell line for the production process. Okay, so cDNA synthesis is necessary. Then we have to go. We have to introduce that cDNA with the vector into the Chinese hamster ovarian cell line, and then go for the production process. So now for the mRNA synthesis. So usually what do? Is they will be isolating the mRNA. Okay. So mRNA will be isolated, and the mRNA isolation technique you have studied that also. mRNA also, isolation also you have studied in the last semester. So usually mRNA will be isolated, and then after the separation technique which is used is known as the immunoprecipitation. You remember immunoprecipitation mRNA. For the separation of mRNA, we will be using an antibody which is coated with a magnetic bead. This particular technique I taught you last semester. So you can go through that. With that particular technique, mRNA will be separated from the cells. RNA isolation, RNA will have all the RNA, tRNA, rRNA and mRNA. We need only the mRNA. So mRNA will be isolated with the help of the antibody which is conjugated with the magnetic bead, and those mRNA will be used for the cDNA synthesis. And cDNA synthesis, what are the enzymes used? The first one is the reverse transcriptase enzyme will be used, and then you will be using an RNase enzyme, and that is followed by the DNA polymerase enzyme. 3 enzymes are used for the cDNA synthesis. So once the cDNA is ready, with this cDNA we need to insert into the cells, into the vector. So mammalian expression vector, there are various vectors are there in mammalian expression vector. Into that vector we need to put the cDNA, which is synthesized. So till this step we are clear with it. mRNA isolation by using an immunoprecipitation method, wherein antibody coated with the magnet will be used for the separation, and then cDNA synthesis. Once the cDNA is ready, that will be inserted into the expression vector. Then we need to introduce this vector with the foreign DNA into the Chinese hamster ovarian cells, which is there in the culture. Then select it. The foreign gene will be always associated with a selectable marker. So this is the TPA gene, cDNA. Along with that, there will be a selectable marker. Depends on the selectable marker, you can select the transformed cells. Once the transformed cells are selected, we have to go for a large scale culture, because it's a production process. You cannot culture them in a small tea flask or a petri dish or a conical flask. We are going for the production process, wherein we need large amount of products. Large amount of products are produced by fermentation technology. Okay, fermentation technology. This also you would have studied different types of fermenters which are used. Usually, the normal fermenter what we use for bacterial cell culture with the agitator, that will not be used for animal cell culture because of the continuous agitation, the impellers which agitates, that can harm the animal cells. Thereby, for the animal cell culture technique, we don't use normal fermenter with the agitators. So usually the fermenter which is used is an airlift fermenter. Last semester we have studied about the fermentation techniques also. In Nisha's seminar also, I think she explained about the airlift fermenter that can be used for the production process. So remember that you are not supposed to draw fermenter with the sparger, the agitators. Airlift fermenter can be used. Air will be circulated, and the culture, the entire media will get proper air, because water will be there. Through the sparger, air bubbles will be continuously rotating in the fermenter. Now, one more point, a very important point to remember is, mostly they will be going for a technique known as the immobilization technique. Immobilization technique, wherein the Chinese hamster ovarian cell lines. So this is a Chinese hamster ovarian cell line that will be trapped inside a bead. What is that bead? The bead is made up of a compound called as sodium alginate. In BSc level, some of you would have done this, the bead formation. Okay, the chemical which is used is known as the sodium alginate. So you have to prepare a sodium alginate solution, and after making the sodium alginate solution, mix it with the Chinese hamster ovarian cells, which has the vector with the foreign DNA, and mix it with the sodium alginate, and you need to drop the sodium alginate into chilled calcium chloride solution. So because of the reaction that happens between the calcium chloride and the sodium alginate, beads will be formed. The sodium alginate, it is very porous in nature, like your agar rose or agar early, it will be porous in nature. Transparent beads will be formed, whereas the cells will be trapped inside. Okay, those kind of cells are known as the immobilized cells. What is the use of immobilization technique? The cells will not be damaged. One thing, because animal cells are very fragile, it can get damaged. The cells will not undergo damage. Second advantage of the immobilization technique is you can reuse it. Once after the production process, you can pick the bead from the fermenter and you can reuse it. Prepare a fresh media, introduce the bead again. So continuously the bead can be used. So it can be stored for a longer time, it can be used again and again, and the damage to the cell will not be happening because it is trapped inside a porous gel which is made up of sodium alginate. So you need to keep it for the proper incubation time period, and the tissue plasminogen activator will be released into the media. From the media, you can separate the tissue plasminogen activator by using appropriate downstream processing method. So this also you would have studied in the last semester. Various downstream processing are there. So once you get the purified product, you have to go for a drying technique known as the freeze dry. You get a powdered form of the tissue plasminogen activator. So that will be packed and it will be there in the hospitals or in the medical store. So whoever is in need of tissue plasminogen activator, you can buy it. So it's a very costly product. The tissue plasminogen activator was first synthesized by biotechnology company called as GeneTech. GeneTech was the first one to market tissue plasminogen activator with the trade name Activase. The tissue plasminogen activator, which was produced by GeneTech, the name of it is Activase. Okay, so clear, it's a very simple topic. I will take 1 or 2 examples from this list and I will be teaching you. For all the production process, it is similar only. So in the next class, I will teach you about 2 more production process. Okay, so these are the various pharmaceutical important proteins which are produced in the animal cell culture. And then when you are writing about the tissue plasminogen activator, you need to write what do you mean by thrombus or blood clot, how it is formed, and then tissue plasminogen activator, what is it, what are the uses, where exactly the gene is located, then mRNA isolation and cDNA synthesis, and the cell line which is used is Chinese hamster ovarian cell line, 3 to 10 gram per liter, that is the production rate of this Chinese hamster ovarian cell line. And then in there you need to make a neat labeled diagram and explain the process. That's all, very simple topic. Kindly go through this. So this particular topic is coming under paper 404, animal biotechnology, the last chapter. Okay, please go through that. Thank you. Take care.